Hi there. Is Dr. William Samoei Ruto selling Kenya to the US? Let's talk about that, guys, because there was some tax agreement which actually was appended on last week, which a good number of people in Kenya don't really understand what it means. But it has a very high impact for you and me because it actually means what the future looks like with regards to money is flowing to the country when it comes to taxation, more so taxing those big American companies. Talk about, like, so for example, Facebook, Google, Amazon, you name it. Let's talk about all that in this video. You are all much welcome to the Money Daily YouTube channel. My name is Afagza Sifuna. And by the way, if you know, consider subscribing to this channel. Hapo chini kuna button imeandikwa subscribe. Click the subscribe button and join the family. And also, you'll still add it, drop a like on this video. Having said that, among many things we discussed last week, there was something relating to taxation. More so, how are these big multinationals out there taxed? And the key point of concern was that these companies are having full-fledged operations in Kenya. For example, the big American companies, Facebook, Google, IBM, all these. We're talking about over 50 plus companies in reality. And yet, a good number of them, more so, those who only have marketplaces, only pay 1.5% of actually digital tax, which is kind of insane if you think about it. So they have operations also partly in Kenya, and lots of their monies flow back into the US. Think about it. A company even making maybe upwards of 20 billion US dollars in profits. All this money is going back to the US, and only a drop in portion of it benefiting the country in which it has operations. And that's why Kenya also ratified a given regime which is used by the OECD countries. A bunch of about 30-something countries, more so those high-income countries in Europe, which actually came up with a given mechanism through which also multinationals can be taxed. In essence, raising this ceiling beyond just digital tax and having two pillars in it. The first pillar, whereby it was proposed that these big companies out there, even if they make huge monies in the US, they can also distribute part of that profit into other countries out there in which they have operations. And this, by the way, was the main point of contention. And in fact, good number of countries out there oppose this. These big companies oppose this, and even America itself isn't really confident with regards to that particular pillar. And then the second pillar is whereby the base is leaving at least 15% of what they make in that particular country in which they make these particular revenues. It is as simple as that. In essence, taxing 15% on this company's returns. And that's the pillar, which is the second pillar, and actually the pillar with which Kenya is also thinking about actually implementing that, so that it actually also raises the ceiling of taxation of these big companies. So in essence, President William Samoei Ruto is also pushing for the country getting additional income from these big companies out there, because nevertheless, they are having operations, most of marketplaces in the country, making money from people also in Kenya using these particular platforms, and yet most of this money is going back to the US. So it's just a matter of thinking about how this is gonna really upset the tax regime. Most of thinking about a tax regime needs to be unified, also applicability of it needs to be uniform in the ecosystem. How does it specifically affect the digital sales tax? We're gonna see how KRA is gonna work with this. But I think personally, this is a good thing for the country because it's gonna mean we're bound to get more and more revenue. What do you all think? Thanks a lot for watching. I look forward to share with you other awesome videos next time. Bye-bye, and you all take care.